Welcome to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe podcast. Relationship Bite is a platform for everything relationship. Mother-child relationship, father-daughter, siblings, sister-in-laws, parents-in-laws, everything you need to know about relationship. It is said that one of the most important needs of human is belonging. It simply means that relationship is as important as being human. I will be taking you on a journey of everything relationship. Join me, Wendy Ologe, every fortnight as we explore the intricacies of different forms of relationship, the positives, the negatives, the wins, the losses, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything else in between. And most importantly, the lessons we will learn from them. Relationship Bite with Wendy Ologe is your plug for real life experiences on diverse relationships and how we can maximize these relationships for the best. So yes, we are back to Relationship Bite with Wendy Ologe, and today we have an amazing somebody, someone that you will love to hear her, story, her conversation. The interesting thing about this person in the studio today is that I call her the number one international speak coach. You talk about somebody who does public speaking like it's just how they are created. Yes, that's the person I have in the studio. Ikalo Udo. She's a children's public speaking coach. We call her the person in the academy. You want your child, my child talks too much. My Ikalo will just tell you, bring the child to me. And when she's done with your child, it will be like, oh, wow. What happened to this child? And Ikalo has worked in several, places, oil and gas, insurance, banking, coaching, consulting. And one of the conversations that we're having today is on, growing up, adverse childhood effects, how it affects you and the things that you give back to the world and all of that. And today, I don't think there's any other person to have this conversation with today. And welcome to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe, Ikalo.
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Wendy. Love this, love this, love this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, for the records, we're in two different continents as we are recording this podcast. Ikalo is recording all the way from India. I'm here. That's the beauty of technology. And Ikalo, thank you for coming on Relationship Bites. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, thank you so much, Wendy. I'm so delighted to be here on this very, very international platform, very impactful platform. Who is Ikalo Udo? Ikalo Udo is a lady that has found herself because I was lost as a child. However, I can't believe who I have become, who I am becoming. And I want to say thank you to all my experiences, people in my life that have made me who I am today. I'm a combination of many things. As you heard Wendy say, I read geography in school, in university, geography, so I was climbing mountains. Then I went to a place where it was marketing. I went to do marketing as a course. After marketing, I found out, okay, I want to do public relations. And I went to do public relations. Then after working in the bank, after the insurance, and I realized that I was tired of banking. And I went to a school to volunteer, to teach children, to clean their bum-bums, and just explore the beauty around children. And I got tired again. And I said, Ikalo, what do you want to do? I went into makeup. Looked beautiful. At the end, I was still tired, looking for Ikalo. What is the essence? Why was Ikalo in this world? Then I met someone that told me, Ikalo, everything that will make you flourish is in your voice. Your voice. However, I could not speak.
Mm.
However, I was quiet. I was timid.
Wow.
I was shy. But this coach told me that after the assessment he has done with me, after I was depressed, frustrated, I went to commit suicide many times. This guy told me, Carlo, your power, your fulfillment to come through your voice. I said, but I don't have a voice. I can't speak. He now recommended to me where I could find my voice. I was ready to go on that journey to find myself. When I was finding myself, and I started on my journey finding my voice, I now realized the power in my voice. I now found fulfillment, happiness. I found life. I now knew why I was alive. That's why I told myself that I will not allow any child wander in the misery of losing yourself so long like I did until 2015. I said I will catch them young. I will not allow any child from 3, 4 to be wandering through the mistakes I made going into geography, public relations, marketing, makeup, bank, insurance. Which sector have I not entered? However, now I'm in my place of rest, in my place of power.
Yes.
My secondary school mates cannot believe this is Ikalo.
Yes.
My university mates cannot believe this is Ikalo. My colleagues in the bank, insurance cannot believe. So that means there was something inside this girl that was fighting for expression until she found herself. Until she found out what was that thing she was carrying. Before I now had peace, I was depressed many times. That is why I say if you don't have a voice, you are finished. If you cannot express your essence, you'll be frustrated until you find yourself. And most talents have to come from you speaking. If you're into makeup, acting, whatever you do, your voice is important. And that does not undermine those people who cannot speak, those people who are born deaf and dumb. No. There's something about expression. So this voice I'm talking about might not just only be with your vocal voice, your ability to express what is inside through body language.
It could be that you're just drawing, and that's a voice. Writing. Painting. Yes, painting. That's a voice.
Yes. Any way you can express your essence is the voice. Any way you can express it can be acting, dancing, drawing, painting, poems to poetry. Any way you can get that bubbling thing out is your voice. That is what I do. I go out and look for people who need to express their voices. I go out and unlock that. I say, you are released. This thing must come out. So I've also come to realize that there's something that makes people not to express their essence. Because I'll share a little story with you. When I was in primary school, primary 4 precisely, I did not know what happened to me until I was much older, when my classmates in primary school found me on Facebook and said, is this Ikalo? On Messenger, I said, Ikalo is a guy. Ikalo, is this you? I said, who is this? He said, I can't you remember Grace Children's School? I said, And I started talking. I said, that I gave him stress in that class. That in his life in primary school, nobody has ever beaten him. He used to come first, back to back. But in primary 4, I came first. He told me the guy that came second. I can remember. In fact, I was blushing when he mentioned it. He said, but he was angry that a girl could come first in the class that he was in. This was a man talking to me. We're adults already. And I was just smiling because I could not remember. But when he was talking, I can remember I came first during CA test. He said, second CA test, I came first again. And his brothers lashed him. His brother said, how can you allow a girl to beat you in class? This guy said he read back to back. He was angry. So he worked very hard and became first. But when he became first, he was thinking I'll become second or something close. He said he looked at the end of the roll. He did not see me anywhere first 10th. He said he was so disappointed. He said he was so angry because he went to get to see what this girl is all about, but he could not find me anywhere. I was missing in the crowd. And he said to me a word a word I had never heard in my life, even until that adult stage. He said to me that he thought I had some family, some trauma I was dealing with. Maybe some family issue. I could not believe it. That is, I took note of that and I said, trauma, family issues. And I reflected. I had a flashback, consciously thinking back. How was my childhood then?
Ikalo, you've entered the next question, and that's why I like conversation with Ikalo. I don't need to break it. You know, the next question was supposed to be intent, taking us through the journey of your childhood work. Ikalo is already taking us there. Ikalo, please go on.
I don't know what happened, but I remembered my family background. I remember my house. I can even remember it as I speak right now. I remember my mom, breastfeeding my younger sister. She was a baby when I was in JS 1. I remember my father beating my mom, and there was a time when he threw my younger sister out of her hand when she was even breastfeeding. I remember very clearly my mom tell us that breast milk was not coming out because she was not eating well.
Oh, wow.
There was no milk. There was no there was no baby milk. There was no breast milk. And there was no money because my father married another woman and it was chaotic in the home.
Oh.
I remember being taken to secondary school, and my father, instead of him, I think my father came to pick me. Instead of him taking me back home, he took me to the village against my mother's wish. She didn't know about it. And I saw another woman in the room with my father. As a young girl, I was 11. I did not understand what it meant to have another wife. As a child, it was strange to me, shocking to me. I was quiet. I went home. I told my mom. My mom was trying to explain to me what had happened when I was in school. So all those things were strange. Nobody could tell me anything. I just saw. And I saw my elder sister always being beaten. She had a very different temperament from myself. She was an outgoing person. She was always entering trouble. So I saw her leave the house many times, run away many times. My mom too, who did not really know any better about how to train a child, felt that it was to discipline with koboko. That was the name. Koboko is an African whip that is usually made from animal skin that has three trunks now. So my mom will use it to beat us. I had a lot of marks on my leg. I can remember. She would beat us with cane, and blood would come out. Sometimes she would tell us to kneel down, my sister and I, and we would carry stools. We would carry stools until we were visibly shaking. Our hands were shaking, sweating. And when she will hear my father come, she'll go and take your bath. Wash your face. So my elder sister, who is very different from me and very outspoken, will tell me, I think I was younger then, maybe I was 5, she was 7, because maybe 8, because she was 3 years my senior. She would tell me that I don't think mommy is our mom. And I would tell her, how can you say that? You are the one that looks so much like mommy. I look like daddy. She said, no, how can mommy treat us like this? Many times my sister, when my mother has beaten us, my sister will refuse to eat. But because I was very different, I would go and carry my sister would not eat. She would leave the house, go and stay in a friend's place. But I had nowhere to go. I was very timid as a child. I would say that I would eat. My sister would reject food. She would just go and buy Indomie and egg. Indomie and egg was what she was used to eating. But I would be there. So these things, I don't know how it influenced me, how it made me to forget things. I always saw myself as a timid, no good child. So when a guy calls me on Facebook and tells me I came first, it was strange to me. So I could not see myself doing anything good. It was average. But that brought memories to me. I'm like, oh, really? You mean I achieved that? So I
You
had
mean
to
I
go on a journey.
can? Hmm.
I couldn't believe I had once become first. Me, come first. But do you know something, Wendy? The strangest thing I've come to realize is that my childhood experience was playing forth in my life with my own children.
Ikalo, that's the next question where we're going. Ikalo, you must be connected. The first thing Ikalo said to me when I told her about this conversation was, this conversation is personal to me, is emotional for me. And Ikalo is flowing with the questions without me asking her. Let me read for you what I have here so that you understand how the spirit works. The second question is supposed to be, in today's podcast, is going to be very intense. Ikalo has already made it intense. And we said that before you dive fully into this journey, take us through your childhood. Who was Ikalo as a child? She has answered that. Number 3 question, we were centering our conversation around adverse childhood experiences. What do you understand by the concept? Ikalo has used story to actually, get us to understand what it is. Let's look back into childhood. Did you experience any form of childhood trauma? Ikalo has answered that question also. Ikalo is a beautiful storyteller. And the next one, she's already moving into that before I cut short. How did this experience affect the quality of your personal life, Ikalo? Your relationships, your parenting. And she was already telling the story of how this had affected how she raised her own children. Ikalo, over to you again.
Wendy, I never knew I had an issue until one time during COVID when my son, my baby, who has given me a reason to go down on my knees many times to pray that God should help me to raise my children well. My first daughter, she was easygoing. She's still easygoing. My first son, but this baby challenged everything I thought I knew. Growing, in fact, truly, I actually thought somebody from the village had bewitched me. I thought somebody sent something against my son. There was a time I went to see a medical doctor, and the doctor actually said something about my son. Like, this child has, I'm sure he used ADHD. I did not know that word at that time. I didn't know the word. My husband said, God forbid, that is his own. My mom was just rejecting. But when I now realized that anytime I was teaching other people's children, my son will not sit still. In my house, I teach. My mom has always been a teacher. I never knew that this thing rubs off. I didn't even know why I started teaching. I just didn't know.
It rubs off.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
It does.
I never knew. So my house has always been a training center. Even when my brother was staying, he was doing lessons. Now I see myself handling children in my house. So my son will run out of my living room. I'm going to be making funny faces to distract children. And I'll be saying, see me, that I am teaching this thing. My whole son is supposed to be the primary beneficiary, refuses to take learning from me. I took him to a school. And the class he was in, the teacher put him on timeout. And I was very angry because I was an intern in that school, but I paid fees. So when the teacher did not allow him to participate in activities like planting, she won't give him seeds. I was so pained. I was upset. I said, but this boy paid school fees, even if he has a bad attitude, because he's very assertive, even though he overdoes it. Allow the child to learn. Don't give him time out when they are teaching. Allow him to learn. So when I left the school, I decided to pull him out for other reasons, actually. So this new school I took him to, I made sure I introduced my son to the head teacher. My son does not sit still. This boy is always everywhere. Please, can you give him someone that can help manage his ecstasies? I made sure that I explained my son, described him to the teacher. He said, no problem, I will send him to a lady who is like a grandma, matured in years of training. You won't believe this, Wendy. You won't believe what happened to me. The former school that I told my son that I was always marking him down, removing a point from his scores. This new school, my son came first. in first term in a new school. And I went to meet the teacher, Mrs. Mary. I said, how did you do this? She told me, there's nothing wrong with your son. Your son is the kind of child who does not like protocols. You don't tell him to sit still. Once he's done with his work, he wants to go and play, and she allows him to go and play. I've never heard that in my life before. From then, I started paying attention to my kind of son. I started loving him. If I was beating him, I found myself doing the things I hated my mom do to me.
To you. Ikalo, you remember when we had this conversation? By the way, Ikalo is a parent in the inner circle as well. I remember when we had this conversation about this, and when we were talking about it, and we're saying that everything that happens to you as a child, you get to replicate it without knowing. In your relationship, even in marriage, even in parenting, everything just rubs off. I wish a lot of parents would understand how much trauma rubs off on them on their own journey. And many of the times, why is it that people don't, especially in this part of the world, don't key into healing? Is it that we don't understand that we have trauma? Is it that we are ashamed of saying that we need to heal? Why is therapy a big deal?
Wendy, it's not that we are ashamed. We don't know. I stumbled into. Do you know how many times I've had suicidal thoughts? People call me hyperactive now. They say you are always busy. They don't know it's therapy for me. The way I walk back to back is therapy for me. It's healing for me. When I left my last place of work, I knew how sad I was. Even the voices I heard from loved ones. You have left the financial sector. People that are there, do they have 3 heads? Why did you leave? Why did you leave? And I was dealing with a lot. A lot. There was a time I lay down on my bed and I looked at the bottle of a poisonous substance on top of the fridge.
Wow.
The only reason I didn't get up was because of my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the only reason. I was down, confused, sad. I had internal things I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Fulfillment in life. Then somebody is now giving you external stress and telling you what to do next. So I said, at home now, what are you doing? I could not sleep.
Our biggest problem is that we don't know. Many of us don't know that we have trauma.
We don't.
Many of us don't know that we need to heal.
We don't.
We don't. There is a knowledge.
I stumbled into it. Yeah.
Wow. There's a knowledge in this conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I was just trying to find myself because I left the financial sector very depressed. In fact, if my boss had said another thing, maybe I would have just gone off. In fact, that December, what saved me was I was listening to the radio. That is why I said the power of media. And somebody came on me on the radio and spoke about having hope. The words that I heard gave me hope to stay to the new year. I was somebody who was working in the financial sector, so it was not money. I was somebody who was married, so was not being single. I was somebody who had 3 amazing children. We're living in our old house, and I was depressed. I was depressed. When this guy spoke to me, I was looking for him everywhere. He didn't speak to me, he was speaking on radio. But I connected with the life he was giving me. He gave me air. He gave me air to stay to the January. And that was 2014. And I resigned for May because I looked for him. I started my therapy with him, started my unfolding, my healing, my process. And he took me through that part to resigning, and I went full into finding out what is this mystery that's not a mystery that's not allowing me to have peace.
There's a place for people to learn. There's a place for people to get knowledge to be able to find themselves. So you might actually remain in the dark if you don't connect with that knowledge. You might just repeat the same thing anyway. You might never actually, have access to be able to do things a lot more differently. We host the healing classes in the parenting system. You know about that. And I see a lot of parents when they get into that conversation. You see some people, they don't even know that they've been hurting. They don't know that their parents have hurt them. And they just carry it all along their lives. And until we heal, we don't become more. Now, enough of the, sad stories, enough of the intensity. I'm sure the audience would also like to hear about you being an emotional intelligence expert, and anger management and mental first aid. Did your personal experience encourage passion in you going to do more about anger management?
In an attempt to find myself, yes, I went all out
to do everything.
To do everything, Wendy.
I know.
You know why? Wendy, let me tell you why. I was just curious to find this mystery. I heard somebody on radio give me air to breathe. And I was like, okay, if you could help me to live to this portion, this level of above water, I believe if I go all the way, I'll be out of my drowning, sinking ship.
Yes. Knowledge.
Let me tell you something. Yes, knowledge. Let me tell you something, Wendy. Let me just quickly share with everyone listening what is mental health. Because they will be like, no, it's not so bad. There's nothing wrong with me. I went for a session just to enjoy the session. And they gave us a random test to do. When I finished the test, without knowing what the outcome would be, when they interpreted the outcome to me, I realized I was severely depressed, sitting down with people beside me. I never knew. I want to tell everybody, most times the problem is that we only go to the hospital when we are sick.
When the symptoms are there.
When we're already down with it, inside it, everything is all blown out. The new era of well-being is to go for regular checkups.
Yes.
And most regular checkups, your BP, check it. You should even have it in your house, check your BP by yourself. So what are the things to check whether your mental well-being is fine? I want to share it with us right now. Mental well-being is fine. According to the World Health Organization, the mental health is a state of well-being in which the individual, you listening, realize your own abilities. If you cannot realize what you are good at, or you feel you are a nobody, you are not okay. You are not okay. I'm giving you the first hand.
So you are not okay. So when you are claiming, but we turned out okay, you are not okay.
You're not okay. I'm just giving you the way you can rush to the hospital, the mental first aider, and get help. The symptoms you can see. Mental health. Can you cope with the normal stress of every day? So people cannot cope. That is why a child that has first class, or that is a first class student, can say he wants to kill himself.
Yes.
You are making money, you are okay, you are in fact, everybody says that they are even envying. That is why you will see Miss World committing suicide.
Yes.
That is why you will see actresses who played the band the night before, then they will not say, sorry, my fans, I have to take my life.
Yeah.
So we will not be asking ourselves, where did we miss it? We are not sensitive. But before we even wait for that, you yourself, before you get off that verge, can you just check? Can you cope with the stress? Is the pressure of fame overwhelming? You're not okay. Can you work productively and fruitfully? Can you clap for yourself and say, I'm achieving something productive? If you're not doing it, and it's as if everything you're doing is going down the drain, please go and check yourself. Something is not balancing and it's affecting your mental health.
Yes.
Lastly, ultimately able to make a contribution to the society. Because as human beings, you have to reach a point.
Yes.
To give
That's
to
what
give
makes
back.
you human. That's what
Yes.
makes you human.
That is why I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now, teaching children. I'm even going to early age schools. If there's any issue, who is listening to those children who are traumatized in schools that are public schools, giving back and enjoying the outcome.
Wow, wow,
Ultimate
wow,
contribution.
wow, wow. This has been an amazing, almost 30 minutes plus with the amazing Ikalo Udoh. You know, when I told you that Ikalo is a talker, you didn't get it. She's not just a talker, she's an amazing storyteller. You can listen to Ikalo for 3 hours and you are still listening to her. And, you know, it's been amazing from stories to parenting to everything. And, you know, one of those times I have come to realize in my journey as a parent that everything that happened to us in childhood comes back to haunt us eventually. The brain was created not to press delete. Everything is in the brain. And if what you saw in childhood tells you that you're not good enough, it's still going to be there, even in your adult time. So it is not okay for just us to just say, oh no, everything is fine and all of that. If you have experienced parenting trauma, if you have experienced childhood trauma, if you've been hurt by your parents, please seek help. And we have help for you and we can offer you help. But as we begin to round off Ikalo, we just have a few minutes. We're going to ask you some fun questions. We usually do that at the podcast. And it's just for you to answer in less than 5 seconds each. So please answer these questions. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food?
I love swallow, native food, eba ogbono soup.
Oh, what's the present book you're reading?
The present book I'm reading, I'm walking. Okay, let me think. Oh my goodness, random, fast. Book. Emotional intelligence is somewhere here. Good.
Emotional intelligence. All right. Last movie you watched. What was the last movie you watched?
Finding Nemo in the plane. Finding Nemo.
Current podcast you're listening to. Are you a podcast person?
When this relationship bites. I love it.
Relationship bites with Wendy Alege. Current music that you love. The most current music that you love now that you're listening to.
Oh my goodness. What is the current music I'm listening to? Oh my goodness.
Are you like me?
God.
You just enjoy the song and not remember the artist.
Exactly. I listened to it yesterday. Beautiful song. I forgot. Yes.
Oh wow. It's been so amazing having you on Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe. Please let us hear it for Ikalo. It's been amazing. I've enjoyed this conversation. One thing that I've picked up from Ikalo today is do not wait until you are drowning before you find help. Go get help now. If you see yourself hitting your children, getting frustrated and all of that, you need help. Find it. If you see yourself, you're not fulfilled, it's not about how much you have, please look for help. If you see yourself, you've not been able to actually contribute to the greater good of the world, the society, your community, seek help. Thank you so much, Ikalo Udoh. Did I tell you that Ikalo Udoh is also a friend? All right. Thank you so much for being here. I just called Ikalo this evening. Ikalo is about 1 a.m. your time where you are right now. 1 a.m. Yeah.
Let me see what the time is. Yes, it's let me get to my phone. It's only the phone that can give me that time. 1:58 a.m. Yes, 1:58 a.m.
It's almost 2 a.m. and Ikalo is here.
2 a.m.
It's
Yeah.
just amazing. It's something that we don't take for granted. We
Thank
just
you.
love having amazing people like Ikalo in the studio. And if you have a child who you want to, in fact, when you see the competition, you speak competition in Danica Consult, and many of the times I'm wondering, how does she get to train these children to speak this fluently? Being able to speak is one of the number one qualities you need, to survive within the 21st century. You want your child to
Yes.
acquire that skill. You want to also reach out to Ikalodo and also get your child enrolled in that academy. Thank you again, Ikalo, for being here. We really do.
My pleasure.
With you. See you again in another fortnight.
Over the years at the Academy, we have helped over 300 parents to heal from childhood trauma, and we are opening up this course for another cohort. This course will help you truly acknowledge the pain you suffered, and in so doing, begin to heal. It will help you reconnect with yourself, including reconnecting with your emotions. It will help you start your intentional parenting journey without passing on your hurt to your children. It would help you figure out how to forgive and move on. To join this course, please send a WhatsApp chat to 0812 968 7040 0812 968 7040.
Thank you for listening to Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe podcast today, where we share real conversations of diverse relationships and why they are important to human beings. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to listen to more, please subscribe to the Relationship Bites with Wendy Ologe on your preferred podcast player. Share this with others, your friends and family. Post about us on social media. Leave us a rating or a review. To keep up with our conversations online, you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Podcast by Wendy Ologe, or follow my personal page at Wendy Ologe, both on Facebook and also on Instagram. You can also catch my videos on YouTube, Wendy Ologe. You can also follow us on our Parenting Academy, where I share about parenting relationships, the intentional parent. You want to learn more about us? You can simply search us out on www.wendyologe.com, or you can email us, podcastbywendyologe@gmail.com. Thank you again, and catch you next time.